All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the last 1883 speaker series of the spring semester. My name is Mike Wozniak, and I serve as the coordinator of leadership and programming in the Student Involvement and Parent Programs Office. In the next 18 minutes and 83 seconds, we will learn a new lesson on leadership, as well as some advice to guide our personal and professional development. For today's speaker, please join me in welcoming the president of Altru, Dr. Josh Deere.
Thank you. All right, thank you. I didn't know I was the final for the spring, so we're really excited to be here. I know that this is also streaming live. It's an opportunity for me to reflect, and it's also hopefully an opportunity for all of you to learn. My title of my presentation is called Finding Your Authentic Self. And we're going to talk about a personal journey of how I ended up on this stage today. I'm originally from Kennedy, Minnesota. I'm married to a Red River graduate and und graduate, and I myself am a University of North Dakota graduate from 2006 at the medical school. So we're going to talk about how does a kid from Kennedy graduates with 30 people end up on this stage today. Oh, now it's working. All right. So I'm going to start out with embracing. So as I said, I'm from Kennedy, Minnesota, a tiny little town. Maybe some of you know where it is in northwest Minnesota. And in leadership, one of the most important things to remember is you need to embrace who you are. You need to embrace where you came from and embrace what experiences you have had. So there's a picture of my family farm on there. I grew up on a small family farm. And actually, that picture of those two lovely people, that's my mom and dad. That's my first family photo. So for any math majors in the room, November wedding, March birthday. My parents married when they were young, both honor students, both really bright, great people, but married young. At 5 years old, they divorced, and I moved to Grafton, North Dakota, and we lived separately. They worked separately, and every weekend we'd go and be passed off, my brother and I. On the exterior, it looked like we had it all. We were dressed right, but we happened to live in low-income housing. We had a different food than the rest of those that were going to the school I went to, and we had a bunch of challenges. And my parents, although married young, and as I said, both great people, really had a lot of growing to do. So in that time, there was chaos, there was turmoil, and there was change. And that was life. And that frames how I am and how I react as a leader today. The two people on the bottom are my grandma and grandpa, Mary Louise Deere and Louis Deere. Some may know of that name. My grandpa was a principal for years, and he coached and is in the Basketball Hall of Fame in Minnesota, over 700 wins, impacted a ton of lives. He's just a great teacher and mentor. But more importantly, we always have someone in our lives with stability. So when I was 12, my parents, every kid's dream, no matter how dysfunctional it is, got remarried. I moved back to Kennedy. Life was going as good as it could go because we still had our challenges. That said, I was 14, brace-faced, and I was heading out to get my braces taken off. I want everyone to close your eyes for a second. Picture someone in your life that's been super impactful, super meaningful to you, and that has really changed the course of where you are today. All right, with that frame, open your mind and open your eyes. That person was my grandma, Mary Louise. She was there for me. If I was getting bullied, if I was getting picked on, if times were tough between my mom and dad, she was my rock. She was my stability. So she was the person who was driving me down to the big city of Grand Forks to get my braces off. So we traveled down, successfully navigated that, and shortly after we went to her favorite restaurant, which is Players, and her and I were traveling north on the way out of town. She took one deep breath, looked at me, and slumped onto me. We're right by the Smiley Face Water Tower, which is right off of Demers on the northbound. And before I knew it, we were in the ditch. She somehow navigated into neutral, and I, scared, panicked, hopeless, helpless, ran onto interstate. It was 2-lane traffic because the southbound lane was down, and I stopped the first car. It was a van, and it was 2 nurses from Canada, husband, wife, immediately started CPR. CPR commenced, they moved forward. All of a sudden, ambulance is there. I'm 14, I'm tearful, I'm scared, I'm worried. End up at Altru's Legacy Hospital, United at the time, and was in the family room. And for those that might think you might not have an impact on what you do, the most impactful person that day was the health unit coordinator, the be-all, catch-all of the unit, who sat with me in the family room until family arrived. And about 20 minutes later, staff came in and said, would you like to look at your grandmother? She's passed, and it's in exam room 6. From that moment forward, I made the decision that I'm going to be a physician. Naive, helpless, maybe not understanding what all that entailed, but I was going to go forward and not ever have that feeling again. I was going to embrace this challenge and figure out what do I need to do with it to make good out of this bad. So as we reflect on embrace, before I get to my next point, I really want all of you to think of the adult challenges you have, the challenges you have at work, the challenges you might have at home, your personal upbringing, and understand that your perspective is really unique. And your solutions that you bring to problems in leadership, life, and to your coworkers is a lot different than others. So that's great. That's what a team is. If you can find a way to cultivate all of those different solutions, all of us are going to be in better places. So this is an opportunity for you to reflect, obviously embrace your challenges, and understand that we all have a perspective. And despite what the exterior is, always understand that there's more going on underneath the suit, maybe underneath the white coat, underneath the nursing uni. And this steps me into the engage slides. I happened to be okay at basketball, ended up playing at Mayville State University, so I played in the Hislop twice, which will be tore down, which will be a sad day, but change, that's progress, that's good, and we're really excited for und in that. But I had the opportunity, knowing that we didn't have a lot, how can I take something I really like and maybe make it so that I don't have much debt moving forward? So I really engaged in academics, and I really engaged in athletics. And had the opportunity, as I said, for my grandpa to coach me, which is something unique and awesome, but lots of life lessons. So taking chances. Med school, going into med school and applying for med school, coming from Mayville State University, which is a great institution, but maybe prepares me a little different than some of the larger schools, was taking a chance. And that chance was completely worth it. As I progressed into med school my first year and moving on, I ended up wanting to be a surgeon. That's what I was for sure going to do. I was going to be a surgeon no matter what. Third year medical school, I did family medicine first because it was something I'd never do, I'd never like. Turns out I loved it. Went into the surgery rotation, understanding that if this was meant to be, it's meant to be, and it wasn't. So I ended up being family medicine, and then at the same time, I married my lovely wife, Liz, who's on the bottom there, who supported me through all this crazy journey and crazy changes in our life. And she got her degree here, as I said, including her master's degree, and she's a teacher in town still. So entering in, ended up at residency here, came out, and about 6 months into my practice, I would frequently go down to Dr. Baki's office asking for advice, just asking for help, understanding that I don't know everything, and even if I thought I was right, I might need a little reassurance because I'm dealing with someone's life here. Dr. Baki noticed something else in me and said, hey, I think you should be the chair of our department. Like, man, I'm 29 years old. There's like 50 of us. How am I going to be the chair of the largest department at Altru? He was persistent, and about a year later, I ended up becoming chair. I took the chance, said yes. Throughout my career, I've always thought when opportunities arise, can you do this job different or maybe even better than whoever was in the seat prior? And if the answer is yes, and you can bring something unique and different to the table, why not you? I have a lot of people who talk to me, and even in my latest role, leading into becoming president at Altru, of why would you do that? What is the risk worth it? And I think it is. So the important thing in the why not you question is, do you have talents? Do you have a different perspective? And can you bring something different to the table? And I think if you can say yes to those questions, why not interview for that position? Why not try get that promotion? Why not do something different in your work life to excel or to grow or to learn? What's the worst that can happen? In a lot of organizations and places we work, people in their jobs are really good at what they do. They're great. And leadership or stepping into something else is really challenging. If you don't get that position, you still get a B in the place that you're really needed, you're really doing a great job, and you're already an expert. And no matter what, that gives you experience to move forward. So use your talents. So engage, say yes, take opportunities. Lastly, and I think most importantly, as this talk has evolved over the couple years that I've done it, is we need to get better. No matter who you are, I love our vision statement at Altru, the relentless pursuit of excellence. Always getting better. That means no matter how great we did on a case, how good a surgery went, no matter how great someone's experience is, we can always do it better. And why wouldn't you want to be like that? Becoming a lifelong learner, for those of you that are interested in leadership or even self-development, YouTube, all sorts of apps make it really easy to get small sound bites and small clips that speak to you. There's going to be leaders that speak to me that don't speak to you. My current favorite, besides Simon Sinek, is Ted Lasso. I think watching that gives you so many life lessons. Being curious and not judgmental, which is my next point there. Anytime you are new to anything is your one opportunity to ask why. Why do we do it this way? You think we could do it this way? What's the purpose behind this? You know, those are ways that we can evolve and get better. And curiosity helps move patient care, moves education, moves everything onward. And having a vision, I think as you evolve throughout life and opportunities that arise to you, if you have a vision of what your North Star is, what you want to do, when my opportunity came forward with the current role that I'm in, I took it as truly as a privilege and a responsibility, understanding that I'm going to be the physician leader for 3,200 to 3,500 people that deliver the health care for our area. That's a big responsibility. That said, do I feel like I can be successful in that? And do I feel that I can carry the influence to make all of us better? And I personally felt yes. So I think evolving and gaining the confidence in yourself to say yes and do that is something great. And then, as I said earlier, the relentless pursuit of excellence. I also pointed out on this slide, I have Todd on there, Todd Forkel, he's the CEO, we joined together. You need someone around to push you, to make you better, to challenge your ideas, to say, hey, Josh, I think you should think about this a little bit differently, or create an environment where people have the courage and opportunity to give you feedback. Really important organizationally as a culture, but also personally, because ultimately a lot of what we do are choices for ourselves. So it all starts with you internally, and your organization can't bring you motivation to how you're going to work today. That's you. So evolve and think about what your why is. Think about what really makes you a better person and brings you joy, and really step into that. And moving into my last slide, I have a famous Hackstall, but it's not Dave. I have Ed Hackstall, who's his dad. Dave has done some leadership talks to us, and he says this quote when I asked him on a fireside chat at Altru, and I love it because it highlights the embrace, engage, and evolve. There's always a reason people are the way they are. There's always some reason that you personally react the way you do to maybe something that's small. Someone that you work with reacts very large to something that you feel shouldn't be that big. But how do we get to the point that we can have discussions and understand more of the why? Dealing with people with empathy, understanding their perspective and where they come from, and personally looking internally as to what do you play in this and how can you make this situation better. So to all of you, I thank you for the opportunity today. I really want you all to think about how do you personally embrace who you are, how do you engage in your opportunities to get better, and how do you evolve as a person to help yourself and your organization be better. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Deere. Thanks to all of you for attending. As this is the final session for the semester, I'd like to thank a few people. First, thanks to Tyler, Kevin, and the union staff for setting up each event and managing our AV needs. Thanks to Matt and the UIT team for streaming and recording each session, and to Matt Schill for publishing the videos on YouTube for us. Thanks to our student involvement staff, including our student ambassadors, for helping out with attendance, advertisement, and many other things that help get the word out. Thanks to all of our amazing speakers this year. They've all shared amazing and unique lessons that we can use to better ourselves. And finally, thanks to all of our in-person and virtual attendees, and to all that viewed our recorded content online. We're so grateful for your support, and we hope to see you at our 1883 Speaker Series events in the fall. Have a great rest of your academic year.